Well, this Friday, a brother and sister duo from Annapolis are celebrating 5 years of bringing live music to their hometown. They're the team behind Let's Go Fest, a two-day festival they built from the ground up, all while juggling full-time jobs. News 4's Juliana Valencia shares their story as part of the scene.
For many of us, music is healing. It helped me sort out all of my teenage angst. Yeah, I was that punk emo kid in middle school. Now, 2 decades later, emo, pop, punk, indie alternative, it's all making a comeback. So let's kick off this series with Let's Go Fest. Producing a music festival is tough without the backing of a major entertainment company. It's turning a festival grounds into a small city, managing artists and seeking sponsors with a lot less people and capital.
Generated power. Security, locking everything up, Connex boxes, riders, trucks, everything's scheduled down to the T. Trash pickup, bathroom crew.
A lot of work, but Chris Hartman and his sister Liz Rawling felt this experience was missing in Annapolis, so they said, let's go for it.
You know, going through the band process, most people don't realize it's like an NFL draft board. It's the most thing I can relate it down to the most simplest. But who you think you're going to get, you're not getting.
Now, in the festival's 5th year, they've finally been able to secure Third Eye Blind, who's headlining with Young the Giant and Milky Chance. But Let's Go Fest always saves space for local acts like Underline Passages, a band of doctors from Baltimore, or School of Rock.
It's really cool to see like the full circle experience, considering we're a performance-based music school, and see that they're able to take what we do in our lesson and rehearsal rooms out onto the main stage.
We basically reached out to all of our local School of Rocks in the DMV, and there was auditions held with a panel of judges.
CN plays bass. He says performing on the big stage made him a more well-rounded musician.
It was a very new experience, a very humbling experience to see that like we were performing alongside a lot of really big names out there.
The festival is smaller, capped at 8,000, and general admission can go right up to the front. There are food trucks, lawn games, and the option to bring your own chair. Chris and Liz shop for artist rider items, and during the festival, they walk the crowd surprising fans with drink tickets. Chris says it's a real personal feel that encourages even artists to come out into the crowd, like the band We Are Scientists.
They walked right into the crowd, and you know, the first thing I'm looking at, there's a father, a son, and a grandson just all standing there. And they got a picture. Like, how freaking cool is that?
Let's Go Fest returns to the Anne Arundel County Fairgrounds June 6th and 7th. Juliana Valencia, News 4. The music may have been the soundtrack to your teenage heartbreak or garage band dreams. Warped Tour is back celebrating 30 years, and they are kicking off their summer tour right here in D.C. And you know D.C. has the birthplace of go-go, but Washington also played a role in the development of punk and emo music. I have more on how that genre is striking new chord all over again. D.C. might not scream emo to the average fan, but that's where the genre's story begins.
The Revolution Summer began today.
40 years ago with bands like Rites of Spring and Embrace.
I mean, this isn't like, you know, eyeliner, skinny jeans, the swoopy haircut, the whole thing. They were just being super emotional in their music. Hey, what's up, tonight?
Alex Mack is a host on
DC 101.
DC's alternative rock station.
The term got coined actually in Thrasher magazine, the skateboard magazine. 1986, they were referencing these bands in DC, and they called them like emotional core. And once that got back to these bands, they were like, we hate this title, which is probably like the most like punk emo thing you can do.
Some of those musicians later formed one of DC's most influential bands.
Ian MacKaye and Guy Picciotto come together to form Fugazi, which I think maybe every alternative band ever would reference as an influence.
DC's rich music history is why it's special that Warped Tour is launching its comeback tour in the nation's capital.
My roots were in punk rock. And as music evolved, by able to respecting that change allowed me to exist. When you resist the change, you would have gone away because we would have become a classic punk show. But as it evolved into emo and screamo and post-hardcore, and Warped was always in a very eclectic lineup.
Founder Kevin Lyman shared this tour is paying homage to the past, but looking forward to the future.
Then there's some amazing young acts like Honey Revenge and Lolo and Sweet Pill and the Home Team and Magnolia Park. But there's this whole new movement of bands that probably could, maybe take the scene to the next level again.
There will be 6 stages, action sports, and 25 nonprofits to check out.
Warped was always about new bands, and those new bands used to be, no doubt, Sublime, Deftones, My Chemical Romance.
And Motion City Soundtrack.
I think the reason that any record hits anybody hard years after the fact, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, is I'm assuming most of the people who it hits hard with were teenagers at that time.
It makes sense. This is me barely containing my excitement, hearing the opening chord from my favorite band as a teen. Warped Tour is how I discovered Motion City Soundtrack, which lead singer Justin Pierre credits is how many fans did.
We had friends like, Fall Out Boy, All American Rejects, and like even, Blink 182 took us out on tours. But what Warped Tour did was kind of solidify us in that group of bands that were playing Warped Tour.
Guitarist Joshua Kane sharing this video from the peak Warped Tour days of the mid-2000s, describing it as cross-country drives and hot days.
It's like a nightmare, but also the best thing at the same time.
Yeah, it's like summer camp. Right?
Yeah. And then the people we met and hung out with and the bands that we were friends with. I mean, that it's so hard because so much community that we had back then. So it was just amazing.
A sense of community. Warped's founder hopes to bring back this summer.
I think if ever there was a time to build community again in society, Warped had that place. It was a community for a certain sect of people, and I think we could use something like that again.
Warped Tour returns to the RFK Festival grounds June 14th and 15th.
And concert goers who bring 3 cans of food will be able to skip the line. The donation's going to Bread for the City.
So the tents you see up there are set up for the Oceans Calling Music Festival. 3 days of big name bands and good music, but it is much more than that. The festival's roots are planted miles inland in Rockville. News 4's Juliana Valencia explains how one hometown band made their dream music festival a reality.
I said, are y'all ready?
3 days of music with the beach as a backdrop.
This is interesting in that these are truly friends. These sets are made up of folks that we have had relationships, whether through Sweetwood, through OAR, through Maryland.
Friendships spanning decades of music is why Oceans Calling exists. OAR's lead singer Mark Roberge pitched an idea, and festival producer Tim Sweetwood had the connections to make it real.
He just basically stepped into our world again, having not seen each other in 20-something years of working together way back in the day, and basically brought OAR into another stratosphere and brought us into a world that very few get to see, and Oceans Calling was born.
OAR started in Rockville, and in 2020, Maryland was missing a major music festival. So Sweetwood thought, why not the beach?
In theory, there could be 300,000 people at the festival because there's so many places to stay in this town. So I think that's what's created the success of Oceans Calling is the site is an accessible site, and it's also something where over the past 30 years, either your friends, your parents, your kids, or anybody have been through Ocean City for a quick vacation or something. So this was a familiar site.
In its 4th year, the festival draws in national names like Green Day, Noah Kahan, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer, while weaving in Maryland ties.
We try to celebrate that for the weekend, and Rockville Stage is a way to do that because for sure we are referring to a specific place in Maryland. And for that weekend, fans from around the world will know the name Rockville.
Waldorf's own Good Charlotte is one of this year's big headliners.
Because they're from there and they have family showing up and the whole nine. We've been talking to Benji and Joel a lot, and they're putting their all in it.
The The festival footprint includes Ocean City landmarks, the Jolly Roger amusement park, dozens of boardwalk businesses, and cooking demos with hometown chefs like the Voltaggio brothers.
Yeah, did we always want to do this? Every band you've ever heard of wants to always do this. This is a dream of every band, I think. It comes with making music for movies, and then having your own festival is like the biggest dream you could have. So for me, it's been amazing.
Mark's favorite part? A special set on the festival's last day where OAR jams out with guest artists.
And it's based on friendship, and it comes across. And man, I'll tell you, when all those people in the audience, they get it. They feel part of the group of friends. And that's really what Ocean's Calling is. It's reminiscent of that group of friends you had when you were coming up in high school and college and you never lost touch with. Meet up at Ocean's Calling, you know, that's what it is.
Mark also shared what it feels like when the festival's over. It's his moment to stand on the beach and reflect. A wave of gratitude for a great weekend of music and friends. Juliana Valencia, News 4.
It's so cool when local bands make it all the way from Rockville. They stayed together through Ohio State, and here they are doing their own music festival at Ocean City. Once Ocean's Calling wraps up, the boardwalk is going country. Then the Country Calling Festival runs from October 3rd through the 5th. Headliners include Carrie Underwood and Luke Bryan. Some big names there.